Kill Count, where we tally up the victims and all our favorite horror media and show you how they were made. I'm James H. Deese, and today we're looking at Season 4 of Stranger Things, released on Netflix in May and July of 2022. After the colorful summer blockbuster feel of Stranger Things 3, showrunners and twin brothers Matt and Ross Duffer wanted a darker and more mature tone for Season 4. They felt the change was necessary based on their own experiences growing up.
Middle school for us was like a fun, amazing, joyful experience. Some of the best memories of my life were in middle school. High school, it's horrible.
So as the kid characters age into facing the horrors of high school, the show leans into the horror genre more than ever before, especially with Venca, the latest villain from the Upside Down. He's got a sort of Freddy Krueger Cenobite thing going on, with a kind of Wishmastery appearance. In fact, there are references to horror media all over the place, from visual Easter eggs to name drops in dialogue. Even the music sometimes feels reminiscent of Charles Bernstein's score for A Nightmare on Elm Street. At the same time, Stranger Things 4 does continue the trajectory from Season 3, where the show gets cartoonish at times. We are a long way from Season 1 at this point, which was stylized for sure and had moments of hokiness, but was ultimately a grounded mystery with the 80s aesthetic as a flavoring. By Season 3, the 80s styling had completely overpowered the show, and it's still poured on a little thick here. Even more noticeable, though, is the way that every shot and moment is staged to be quote-unquote epic, with overly posed blocking that can feel artificial at times. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you might bristle at it if you want something realistic. This show knows it's a huge show at this point, and sometimes it seems like the characters know they're the Stranger Things kids, you know? But I guess the cinematic styling is appropriate for them. When you're a hormonal high schooler, everything can feel like a movie. Season 4 sees the characters split up more than ever before, with thousands of miles between some of them. There are 4 or 5 different major plot lines, and a whole lot of jumping around between them. Honestly, I only truly love 1 or 2 of the storylines. A clear favorite is the Hawkins stuff. It's got the most interesting and best acted characters, and features Vecna, who really elevates the season. The 11 storyline has cool revelations and visuals, even though something about it feels a little too familiar to me. The California crew is fun, but ultimately unimportant. It's definitely the most removed from the rest of the show. The Hopper storyline has good character beats, but man, do I get bored being in a Russian gulag for so long. And finally, I actively hate the Joyce and Murray stuff. Most of their scenes are him yapping while she makes faces. And while he's good at yapping, and she's great at making faces, that dynamic's tough to sustain its own storyline for several episodes. Plus, he is by far the most Flanderized character, and his shtick gets old after a while. Still, the way it all shakes out, I love Season 4 as a whole. It's clearly a huge step forward for the show.
It was okay to me.
Since the first one. I always found Season 2 a bit boring, like it was treading water.
I liked Season 3 better than I liked Season 4.
It was also a little too ridiculous. This season has ridiculous moments too, but they're balanced out by a return to mystery and the infusion of serious horror. The show is still funny and adventurous,
I loved Robert Englund, even though he only had like one
I do wish the episodes weren't so frickin' long. The shortest is still over an hour, and the finale is a whopping 2 hours 20 minutes. But honestly, I might just be hating, because that length makes it way harder to cover in a kill count. There's a reason it took us 3 years to finally sit down and make these episodes. At the same time, the length feels befitting. The word gets overused, but Stranger Things is epic. From its scale to its style, this show wants to be something big. It doesn't always succeed, but when it does, goddamn is it great. But enough beating around the Kate Bush, let's get to the kills. Just gotta roll for them first. On that one, terrible news, player! Verified Vecna victims will visit the numbers void. Let's find out and get to the kills. The season begins with warning ASMR and a getting ready video by Martin Brenner. Wait, didn't that guy maybe die in Season 1? Oh, okay, this is 1979, about 4 years before the events of Season 1. This was back when Dr. Brenner watched over 11 and an entire gang of numbers kids. Like 6, who I'm pretty sure is afraid of 7, and, oh, that kid's gotta be 8, right? He's got a magic 8 ball. Wait, really? He's 10? Oh, yeah, that's right. 8 was Callie from that episode we don't talk about anymore. Brenner asks 10 if he's up for some lessons, and all signs point to yes. They do some psychic testing that feels a little Venkman-esque before Brenner asks 10 to psychically snoop on another doctor giving a test nearby. He does and gets flashes of something wrong. Blood, Brenner, blood! 10 says Dr. Ellis and 6 are dead, and since we saw them pass Brenner in the hall right before this, we met them and they can go on the count. All of a sudden the door gets blown off its hinges and knocks Brenner the fuck out, man! When he comes to, he finds 10 dead. Oh no, not 10! He was the base of their whole number system! Starting your season off with a dead kid is a pretty bold choice, but at least it should shut up the people who say Stranger Things isn't horror at all. In fact, before the premiere, Netflix added a last-minute content warning to this episode since there had been a recent school shooting. Which one was that again? I'm sorry, it's fucking impossible to keep track. Oh yeah, Uvalde, Texas. The one with the incompetent cops. Got it. The warning mentioned graphic violence involving children and advised the opening scene might be distressing. No fucking wonder, since Brenner leaves the room to find 7 more bodies in the hallway. 2 guards, 2 orderlies, and 3 more dead kids. Oh man, those are some young kids. That's fucked up, man. And don't you worry, it gets even worse, because he enters the rainbow room to see 11 more dead kids, all strewn about in very uncomfortable positions. Oh shit, they got James Bond too. The only one left standing is 11, covered in blood.
What have you done?
Well, I'm pretty sure she used CG to make herself look younger, dude. But regardless, this is a hell of a start to a hell of a season of Title Card. The intro title sequence remains unchanged 4 seasons in, which makes sense. It's unimpeachably awesome. The dark techno synth, the electrical oven letters, the slightest hint of lo-fi with snowy static. It's just great. When we come back, we're in March of 1986 with California Dreamin' on the soundtrack. What is this? Chungking Express? Nope, it's an appropriate needle drop since that's where Eleven lives. After she and the Byers left Hawkins at the end of season 3, they wound up in the fictional city of Lenora Hills, California. We're brought up to speed by stilted VO from Eleven as she writes the line. Joyce sells encyclopedias now, working from home like so many viewers would have recently thanks to the COVID pandemic. Will's been painting a lot and is being real secretive about it.
Maybe it is for a girl.
Yeah, probably not. Jonathan's found a new California hobby and a new friend to share it with. Surfer Boy pizza delivery guy Argyle, who's gonna love Sam Jackson in Jurassic Park.
Hold on to your butts, bro, chachos.
It's only 2 days until spring break begins, and Eleven can't wait for Mike to come visit. At school, the kids are asked to present a project on their personal hero. Elle, who goes by Jane here, chooses her dad Hopper instead of a historical figure. It makes for quite the awkward presentation.
This is Mr. Fibley. He is a squirrel.
She gets teased by the other students because despite what she wrote to Mike, Eleven's had a hard time making friends here. As a new kid during freshman year, her differences make her a prime target for bullies, like popular chick Angela, who isn't satisfied with verbal abuse, so after school she trips out to the ground. Elle tries to get revenge with a psychic blast, but it just ends up being atomic level cringe.
Holy shit! What the hell was that?
Oh my god, the way my soul shed its earthenly body. She looked like some weeb trying to Kamehameha his bullies. Oh, and then her daddy diorama gets curb stomped too? I fear I cannot handle this discomfort. And I'm a Nathan Fielder fan. If you forgot, like I did, Eleven lost her powers at the end of season 3 after the showdown with the Mind Flayer. There's a bit of debate about how she lost them and where they went. Was it because she got bit? Or was the battle so intense and traumatic that it drained her psychic batteries for good? I don't know. Joyce gets a Russian doll in the mail, which she's pretty red scared about, so she calls Murray for advice. He tells her to undress the doll. Damn, dude, take a cold shower. Oh, okay, the math works too. She does what he says and finds surprisingly accurate anatomy and a crack that hints towards something hidden inside. With Murray's direction, Joyce rigs up a little Home Alone trap and smashes the doll open with a paint can. She finds a note inside, giving her Hopper hope, since it says he's still alive. Back at Hawkins, everyone is getting ready for the high school pep rally. Robin does her makeup as she talks to Steve about her crush, a girl named Vicky who's also in band. Huh, a clarinet and a trumpet? Yeah, that could work. Robin isn't sure if Vicky swings the same way she does, but Steve points out she returned Fast Times at Ridgemont High to the video store with the tape paused at 53 minutes and 9 seconds. That's the famous dream sequence where Phoebe Cates takes off her top. So Vicky and Robin probably have some shared interests. Interests Steve shares too.
I like boobies. You like boobies.
As Jimmy Pop would say, hooray for boobies. We catch up with the rest of the Hawkins gang too. Nancy's a senior who's nearing graduation and is working at the school newspaper. She and Jonathan are still dating long distance, but are kinda on the outs, and honestly, it's a subplot not worth mentioning in the skill count. Sorry, Max has been seeing the school counselor Miss Kelly in the aftermath of Billy's death. It traumatized the hell out of her, but she's unwilling to open up to anyone about it.
It's like you're a ghost or something.
Instead, she walks around blaring Kate Bush on her headphones, an amazing sonic encapsulation of her grief. Lucas has joined the basketball team, while Mike and Dustin have not. All 3 are members of the Hellfire Club, though, which is the school's Dungeons and Dragons club. They're not like super fans of Frollo from Hunchback or anything. Its name is a reference to the X-Men comics, where the Hellfire Club played a big role in Jean Grey's Dark Phoenix storyline, which itself has influenced Eleven's character arc throughout the show. Or at least that's what my research says. I don't know comics. At the pep rally, Lucas's basketball captain Jason gives a speech touching on the tragedies that Hawkins has endured, like the shopping mall disaster from last summer.
In dark days like this, we need something to believe in.
Jason's girlfriend is cheerleader Chrissy Cunningham, who shares a surname with the family from Happy Days. That show aired in the 70s, but was set in an idealized 1950s, which is perfect for Chrissy since she and Jason seem like perfect American teens. But that image is only surface level. Chrissy's having issues and also seeing the school counselor. Max finds her pom-pom puking in the bathroom too, since she's got an eating disorder seemingly encouraged by her mother. While hiding in the stall, she has a hallucination of her mom's abuse and sees monstrous feet on her door. Careful, girl, that might be the look-see. At the pep rally, Dustin and Mike learn that the big basketball game conflicts with their final D&D session. They tell Lucas to skip the game, since he's a bench warmer anyway, but he's thinking of their next 3 years.
If I get in good with these guys, I'll be in the popular crowd, and then you guys will be too.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that's gonna happen, but Lucas doesn't want to be bullied for all of high school like we saw they were in middle school. This diverging of interests among friends as they get older is so real and tragic. These lovable weirdos have always been picked on, but they used to have each other's backs. Now they're split up, either geographically or socially, and the reality of high school is slapping them in the face. Hormones are making everyone awkward and self-conscious and emotional. It's really sad to see. Lucas asks his friends to get the D&D session moved so they can come to his game. To do that, they'll have to talk to the Hellfire Club's president, freaking Eddie freaking Munson. He's a fan favorite new character introduced while the Cramps' I Was a Teenage Werewolf plays. It's an apt needle drop, considering his name is almost identical
he was
to
okay
Eddie
to me.
Munster, the little
I didn't
werewolf
love
in
him. He was just
1967.
okay.
The boys find Eddie in the cafeteria reading an
I
article
liked
about the
him.
dangers of D&D.
He was
The
just
role-playing
okay.
game was a target of satanic panic in the 80s, thanks to a 1976 book by
Don't know
Gary North. In 1982,
where all
there
the
was a
fan
made-for-TV
favoriteness comes
movie,
from.
Faces
He was
and
just okay.
Monsters, that cautioned audiences against the dangers of role-playing games, and starred a 25-year-old Tom Hanks. And a 1985 CBS report featured a dude who falsely linked the game to dozens of murders and suicides. By the end of the decade, the game removed all demonic references, though they were reintroduced in the 3rd edition, published in 2000. Dustin asks Eddie to move the session, but fails his persuasion check. Eddie refuses to cow to the jocks and the normies.
You want something, freak?
Gotta admit, I didn't like Eddie the first time I saw this scene. The whole performance was a little too much for me. But as I got to know the character better, it made sense that he would act this way as a defense mechanism, since he's such an outcast. He promises to leave the club to Dustin and Mike after he graduates. He's been held back twice, but this is finally his year, as long as he doesn't get busted for dealing drugs in the woods near the school. That afternoon, his unlikely customer is Chrissy, who's been feeling a little cuckoo with visions of clocks full of CG spiders.
Do you ever feel like you're losing your mind?
Eddie can tell something's got her spooked and says she can bail instead of buy, but Chrissy's desperate for something that can help her get a good night's sleep. This scene does so much for both of these characters. Grace Van Dien plays Chrissy as a sweet but fragile girl on the verge of an absolute breakdown. Joseph Quinn shines by making Eddie an endearing goofball, hiding beneath a performative, edgy exterior. And the two of them have such great chemistry together, too. Sure hope nothing bad happens to either of them. That night, it's game time, both basketball and D&D. Lucas is sad when he sees his friends aren't there and they're assigned a bleacher spot. Instead, they're sticking with the Hellfire Club and have brought Erica to fill in for her bro.
What's your class and level? Level 1 dwarf?
My name is Lady Applejack, and I'm a chaotic good half-elf rogue level 14, and I will sneak behind any monster you throw my way and stab them in the back with my voice is so kooky, and I'll smile as I watch them die.
Erica Sinclair remains a precocious little kid, which can easily be annoying, but man, does Priya Ferguson make it work. This final D&D sesh sees them in a boss battle against a dark wizard named Venca. He takes out each player until Erica's the only one left. Her efforts are cross-cut with the basketball game, where the other team's dirty tactics get Lucas pulled off the bench and into the game. It's fun to see these two games edited together, since they're equally important to the characters playing them. Lucas makes the winning shot with 1 second left on the clock, and Erica rolls a nat 20 to vanquish Venca. It's a canon event for both of them, no doubt, but the aftermath only underlines their ever-distancing trajectories. Lucas doesn't even look back at his friends as he follows his new bros to an after-party. Max is at her new home in a trailer park, where she lives with her mom ever since Billy's dad left them after his death. She's feeding a neighbor's dog when she sees Eddie and Chrissy go into his trailer for a Special K deal. He ain't talking cereal. He starts rifling around for the ketamine, but he better hurry because the clock is ticking. Chrissy gets lost in another nightmare, one that pulls her into the scariest sewing scene since Child's Play 2. A twisted version of her parents are there, with her dad looking like both guys from that Trap and Saw 4. Oh man, and all the bugs and rotten food everywhere? Oh, you know it smells crazy in there. This scary motherfucker can't smell it though. He ain't got no nose. But he does have news for Chrissy.
It's time for your suffering to end.
In the trailer, Eddie panics at Chrissy's concerning state.
Chrissy, wake up now!
It's a terrifying moment, but it did give us hilarity in the form of a remix song by the Gregory Brothers.
Wake up, can you hear me? Wake up, Chrissy. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up.
There's nothing funny about what Eddie sees, though. A catatonic Chrissy floating up and getting stuck to the ceiling like Tina in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And she's killed right in front of Eddie by a real bad case of bonitis. The next morning, Max wakes up from another nightmare to a headache and police cars rolling in and swarming Eddie's trailer. Inside, they find Chrissy's mutilated body. Rough day for Hawkins PD. Not something you take home to the wife, you know? Newly promoted Sheriff Powell doesn't know what could have done this, but he's already picked Eddie Munson as their prime suspect. Probably because his name is one letter off from Manson. Or because Chrissy's body was found in his trailer and now he's missing. You think Callahan applied for Sheriff too and is resentful? Or is he okay just being Deputy Mustache? Word of the murder spreads quickly through Hawkins. Basketballers catch the news from the party den at the abandoned diner Benny used to own. You know, the one from the very first episode. Shame it turned out like this. Friggin' Pucus having baby's first hangover in there. Chrissy's name hasn't been released yet, but later when the cops are talking to Jason, they tip their hand that it involves her. They also mess up mentioning Munson.
Did that freak hurt her? He hurt Chrissy? Did he hurt Chrissy?
Jason finds out Chrissy is dead and storms off into the woods to have a little breakdown. There, scream it out. Robin and Steve also hear about the news while they're working at the video store. Ever since Scoops Ahoy got shipwrecked in the mall fire, they've been marooned at Family Video, a real franchise that actually lasted until 2022. Way to hold out. The dynamic between Steve and Robin is a lot different here than it was in season 3. Robin is way more neurotic and chatty, almost to the point of feeling like a different character. But I guess a teen would probably act different at their summer job compared to when they're back in school, surrounded by social pressures. And she's finally found someone she can be herself around. Yeah, that'll probably cause a change too. Max tells Dustin that Chrissy is dead and was last seen with Eddie. Dustin swears Eddie must be innocent, since he's a nice guy who's always been there for him.
Well, I mean, they said the same shit about Ted Bundy.
Yeah, but did Bundy run a great D&D campaign? Max admits it might not have been Eddie though. Last night, the lights in her trailer went nuts right before she heard Chrissy scream. Then she saw Eddie drive off in a hurry. Might be some upside-down shenanigans, even though they should have stopped all that bullshit last season. Only way to know more is to find and talk to Eddie. This episode actually began with a flashback to the end of last season, when Joyce activated a rift to the Upside Down. It caused Hopper to disappear, but in the least shocking revelation ever, turns out he didn't really die during that violent night. He escaped death, just not the Russian forces. That's what happens when you spend too much time Stalin. David Harbour wanted to shoot these flashbacks early to make sure he'd look the same as he did in season 3. He wanted to avoid continuity issues, since he'd have to lose a lot of weight for the rest of season 4. But since it wasn't written quite yet, they shot the flashbacks after his weight loss, and the makeup effects team had to give him facial prosthetics to match his earlier, heavier look. The Russians took Hopper back to the motherland for enhanced interrogation, demanding to know who he was working with. And if he won't talk, then so be it. Despite elephantic torture, Hopper refused to give up Joyce. He's clearly willing to die for her, and I don't blame him. I mean, it's Winona Ryder, you know? Since they couldn't get any info out of him, they sent him to a prison labor camp called Kamchatka, located on a peninsula in the Russian Far East. You know, by the Sea of Okhotsk. Hopper's been in that frigid finger of land for the past 9 months. Bald, beaten, and getting his ass blasted. All while everyone stateside thinks he's dead. Everyone except for Joyce. She's still holding out for Hawkins' hero like she's Bonnie Tyler. Or Bonnie Byers! After all, she never saw a body. And I mean, even if she did, when has that ever stopped her? Murray has flown here from Hawkins to deal with the message she got, which says to call a number and pretty please don't tell the government, no matter how much Ted Wheeler would want her to. The letter is signed Enzo, a reference to the Italian restaurant that Joyce and Hopper were supposed to go to on a date but never did. That's proof enough for Joyce to want to make the call. Murray agrees to help as long as they disguise their location and keep the call short. You just can't KGB too careful, you know? They call up my least favorite plot of the season, when a voice tells Joyce she has no choice but to bring 40,000 bucks to a place in Alaska. That is not nice. But it's the only way to get Hopper again. Okay, thanks, bye! Mike arrives in Lenora to visit Elle and the Byers boys. In fact, looks like they came in on the same plane as Murray. Really not sure how they missed it. He's very noticeable. The Cali kids promise Mike cool California experiences like breakfast burritos and roller skating. Just gotta stop for short shorts, dude! Speaking of fashion, season 4 saw the return of season 3's costume designer, Amy Paris. She used different regional 80s yearbooks as references for the characters. The Hawkins gang is more drab and old-fashioned, while the California kids rock surfer and skater styles. Mike's kinda in between, and buys a new outfit he hopes will be cool in Cali. Other characters have more specific personal styles. Eddie's a metal fan and is dressed accordingly, with actual vintage Dio shirts provided by Ronnie James's widow. The kids go to Skate-O-Rama, where people are skating, eating shit, and waving their asses into the camera. There's also a quick cameo by Jake Bon Jovi, who is now married to Millie Bobby Brown with a child. Eleven promotes a phony
Oh, I never knew that.
says Angela's
That's
her
kind
friend,
of that's
so
kind of cool. I didn't notice him.
friends do. That's whack, Al. Will knows it too.
I don't think Mike's gonna like that you're lying to him. And he doesn't deserve that.
The truth rears its ugly head when Angela shows up and pulls Elle into a roller rink humiliation ritual. Damn, they got a lot of kids to go in on this milkshake prank that Elle doesn't duck. They're all skating around laughing like literal jackasses. It fucking sucks for Elle when she demands an apology, but instead Angela mocks her dead dad, and that's a step too far.
Angela!
Holy shit, dude! She just straight busted that chick's face open. That was way more effective than that Kamehameha bullshit. And honestly, she deserved it. Got off easy, even. Last season, Elle could have popped her head like it's Scanners. Unfortunately, it gives Elle a flashback to when Brenner found her amidst all those dead kids. Beck and Hawkins, Dustin and Max go to the video store and commandeer the place. They need help tracking down Eddie and figure they can get to him through his drug dealer Reefer Rick. A trail of Cheech and Chong rentals leads them to an address, and when they get there, they find an on-edge Eddie hiding in a storage shed behind the house. Dustin talks him down, swearing that they come in peace.
You know Robin. From band.
Eddie tells them what happened to Chrissy, even though he knows it sounds insane. Don't worry, dude. They've seen stranger things. They give him an abridged rundown of the first 3 seasons, even faster than watching the kill counts for him. Damn. But based on what Eddie's saying, it sounds like this might be something new.
Vecna's curse.
Whenever the Duffers come up with a monster for the show, they use the D&D monster manuals to find something the kids might compare it to. For this season's Big Bad, they chose Vecna, who wasn't really a D&D character until the 90s, but did exist in the lore already. So Eddie's a little ahead of his time. It's almost like he wrote the official 2nd edition story, Vecna Lives. Like his Stranger Things counterpart, the D&D character Vecna attacks with psionic powers and essentially curses. Across town, Nancy and Fred are trying to bluff their way past the trailer park police blockade. Nancy plays it cool, but the cop seems to recognize Fred.
You killed that kid last year.
What?
That ugly scar in your face. It's from that crash.
The cop gets creepier as he yells that Fred's a murderer until Fred snaps out of the hallucination. Yeah, that's probably not a good sign. When they get inside, Nancy spots Eddie's Uncle Wayne, who's sick of the press, but she wins him over by shit-talking the other reporter he talked to.
That guy doesn't know his ass from his elbow.
She's talking about Chuck Bailey from the Hawkins Post, her douchey co-worker from season 3. Wayne tells her his nephew ain't a killer, no matter what the town might believe. He blames someone named Victor Creel, a man who supposedly lost his mind and murdered his entire family. He's still alive, so maybe he broke out of his asylum, like that one guy from that movie.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, him. And Creel wouldn't even have to teach himself how to drive. Fred starts hearing a clock chime, just like Chrissy did. This chime is such a good sound effect, instantly foreboding and very distinct, like Undertaker's gong. Fred follows the sound until he finds a somber gathering of accusatory corpses. He flees until he finds a burning car with someone screaming inside. I guess old Fred was responsible for a fatal car accident in the past. Kind of like that dude from As Above, So Below. And since this is a vision of something that actually happened, I'll go ahead and add Fred's friend to the count. Fred loses his glasses and stumbles into an open grave where Vecna arrives and gets a little too close for comfort.
I want you to join me.
In a kiss? The Duffers said Vecna is 90% practical, with a few digital enhancements here and there. The practical parts were designed by makeup artist Barry Gower, who ended up winning an Emmy for his work. The Duffers told him to model Vecna after the Night King from Game of Thrones and real-life Chernobyl radiation burn victims. They also incorporated vines so he would seem at home in the Upside Down. The prosthetics are silicone medical gel encased in vinyl skin. The practical suit gave actors a real monster to play off of for the first time in years. You can feel that the danger is more tangible and threatening, as opposed to if they were battling a big CG monster. Vecna's also scary because he can speak to his victims, something the Duffers have wanted in a villain since season 1. It puts him in the pantheon of taunting, talking monsters like Pinhead and Pennywise. And of course, Freddy Krueger, which was exciting for Matt Duffer, who said he always wanted to make a Nightmare on Elm Street film. Fred floats into the air, and we get to see what happened to Chrissy in full detail. He dies after being contorted like he's got a calcium deficiency in a cave on the beach that makes you old. As the episode ends, we get our first glimpse of Vecna's home base in the Upside Down, swarming with tentacles and monsters. Episode 3 begins in Ruth, Nevada, where a lady is visited by aliens. Just kidding. It's a stern man named Sullivan. Old Sterny Sully, that's what we like to call him. He's here to see Dr. Owens, who was fired after the whole Russian invasion thing. Sullivan has seen Chrissy's body and suspects that 11 is responsible, and says Owens is responsible for 11.
Men of science. Men like you who created this problem in the first place.
Owens swears 11 is dead, but Sully don't fully buy it. After a thorough search of the house, he hops back in his helicopter to look elsewhere. Hope he doesn't head to Lenora, where Angela's assault has attracted a bunch of onlookers. The kids get picked up by the Doobie Brothers, and honestly, Charlie Heaton and Eduardo Franco do a good job acting like young stoners who are high out of their minds. They get home to find Murray cooking up risotto and Joyce cooking up a story about a fake business trip. Argyle eats them both up.
Finish risotto, get a schmack. Still have no idea who he is.
Joyce tells the kids her bosses live in Alaska, so she needs to go to there. Man, it was so much easier to lie to your kids before Google. Dustin and the gang bring food to Eddie's honeycomb hideout and warn him that the police are looking for him. His name isn't public yet, but it's only a matter of time. Pretty grim for Eddie, but there is a way out. All they have to do is find Venca, kill him, and prove Eddie's innocence before it's too late. And don't worry, dude, they've beaten monsters before.
Mine was more human flesh-based, and theirs was more smoke-related.
She is, of course, referring to the spider monster and the mind flayer. But hey, y'all, don't leave out the Demodogs or the Demogorgon. They're OG. The sound of sirens leads the gang to the trailer park, where Nancy is being questioned about Fred's death. Oh, God, his body is absolutely horrible to look at. She brings up Victor Creel, but the cops tell her he's still locked away and are dismissive as per usual. She gets with the others for a strategy session, trying to find any common links between Chrissy and Fred. They surmise that Chrissy might have mentioned something to the school counselor, Ms. Kelly. Nancy and Robin split off to look into Victor Creel, while Steve is left with the younger kids to go talk to Ms. Kelly.
Always the goddamn babysitter.
Lucas wakes up to find the basketball team forming an angry mob. They're going out to look for Eddie, but just to talk, bro, promise. They visit the other members of the Hellfire Club / Eddie's band, where Jason gets rough with his interrogation. Aw, come on, dude, not the set. He makes the drummer Spinal Tap out and learns that Dustin was looking for Eddie. So now Jason wants to find Dustin. Good job, bystander Lucas. They go to Dustin's house, where Lucas acts fast and sneaks into his room to radio a warning. He gets caught in the act, but claims he found a clue that can lead them to Eddie's hiding place. Where he actually takes them is Hopper's cabin, abandoned since Hopper's apparent death and still damaged from when the Mind Flayer attacked it in Season 3. Lucas takes the opportunity to ditch Jason and the aggro nuts. At the buyer's home, Ella's so upset she won't even come out of her room for Egos. And they were a whole thing! Mike brings them to her and says to let go of her lies. He doesn't know why she didn't tell him about Angela's bullying.
I've been bullied my entire life. I mean, I know what it's like.
Elle says he doesn't know what it's like to be seen as a monster. And, like, does he even love her? Because he never says it in his letters. He's always just a from.
From Mike. From Mike. From Mike. From Mike. From. Oh,
The Frummers' quarrel is interrupted by cops at the front door, who say they have a warrant for Elle's arrest. Damn, bad week for Joyce to abandon them for Alaska. The cops cuff 11 and haul her off to jail, where they take her mugshot and question her like this were adolescents.
Did you want to kill her?
It gives her a flashback to the hospital massacre, and she admits, you know what, maybe she is a little killy. Oh, well, you really don't want to say that aloud to cops. Mike and the buyer's boys reach the station just in time to see a van driving her off to juvie. Back in the U.S., back in the USSR, Hopper needs to talk to Enzo, his man on the inside. Enzo's just an alias. His actual name is Antonov, but I can never remember it for the life of me. They fake a fight to buy some time to talk, but like, what do the other guards think they're doing back there for so long? Do they think he's just kicking him over and over? You know, I bet they think they're making out. Oh yeah, they definitely think they're smoking.
Where do you want it?
Yo, wait, are they actually fucking? Oh, he meant the punch for their fake fight. Yeah, that makes more sense. The Russian scenes were shot in Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. Hopper's jail cell in Kamchatka was filmed at the decommissioned Lukishka's prison, which was involved in several massacres during World War II. It's now only used for TV and film shoots, but still looks authentically bleak. At mealtime, Hopper sidles up to a fellow inmate and offers some bread. Relax, guy. It's not a pickup. Hop's just cruising for a bruising. He pays the guy in soup to hit his ankle with a hammer, breaking his bones, but also the chain and shackle. That lets him get the chain off that night, and he didn't even have to mush his foot like Eric Matthews did. It still hurts like hell to walk, of course, but he's one step closer to getting home to Elle. Elle's ride to juvie is intercepted by Dr. Owens, who takes her to a diner and offers her a choice. He tells her that danger has returned to Hawkins and that everyone needs her to save the day again. He knows she lost her powers at the end of Season 3, but they can rebuild her. He has the technology to bring her powers back better, stronger, and faster. But if she comes with him, there's a chance she'll never see her friends again. It's her choice, but Paul Reiser's monologuing convinces her to take the offer. She leaves before her waffles even arrive. Again, Al? It's like I don't even know you anymore. Max goes to Ms. Kelly's for a house call while Dustin and Steve wait in the car. Any scene with these two is golden. Joe Keery and Gan Matarazzo have such a genuine and natural chemistry.
I'll punch you so hard in your face that your teeth will fall back out.
Oh. Too far.
Max tries to get info about Chrissy's murder, but Miss Kelly counsels her to leave it to the police. Max knows that's a fucking useless idea, so she snags Kelly's office key and hooks it back to the getaway car. Meanwhile, Robin and Nancy go to the library for a research montage. Yeah, let's fucking go! This is another great character pairing. The prim and proper professional with the anxious word vomiter. Robin senses tension and assures Nancy that she and Steve are just platonic friends. She would never get with Nancy's ex. She's a girl's girl, in every sense of the phrase. While she doesn't come out to Nancy, she does talk about her anxieties.
You don't know me very well. I don't really have a filter or a strong grasp of social cues.
A lot of people read Robin as autistic, thanks to scenes like this where she meets specific goals and tasks. Nancy, conversely, works in a more intuitive way, with broad information gathering. Their complementary styles work together well. Robin thinks to check the Weekly Watcher, a conspiracy rag that covers UFOs, Bigfoot, and
Elvis cloned by aliens. You never know.
according to the Watcher, Victor Creel blamed his family's murder on a failed exorcism.
Pretty novel for the 50s. Exorcist wasn't even out yet. Keep going.
He says a demon killed his family and spared his life as punishment. He was declared legally insane because, duh, demons aren't real, but maybe Vecna's are. Dustin, Steve, and Max are doing research of their own, breaking into the school to snoop through Miss Kelly's files.
It's like a mini Watergate or something.
G. Gordon Jr. and Max learn that Freddie was also seeing Miss Kelly. Even weirder, he and Chrissy shared all the same symptoms. Headaches? Like the ones Max has been having, so check. Nightmares? Check again. And nosebleeds. Yep, check-a-rooney. And between Chrissy's abusive mother and Fred's car accident, they both had past trauma. Trauma like seeing your brother killed in front of you. Max realizes that, like Ralph Wiggum, she's in danger. Then she hears a familiar chime, finds that gosh dang grandfather clock bonging away. The danger is emanating from the Dracula district of Upside Down Hawkins, where there sits a Dutch colonial that kind of looks like the Elm Street house. Season 4 spends more time in the Upside Down than ever before, giving an opportunity to introduce new demo life forms like these demo bats. This one soaring shot that follows a few of them took the team at Rodeo Effects nearly 2 years to complete. They had to choreograph the action and movement of the bats against each other, how they float through the CG environment, and how the camera tracked all of that. Rodeo Effects did more than 500 VFX shots for the season, which they considered one of the most ambitious projects in the company's history. The season's impressive VFX were achieved in spite of an intense crunch when production went over schedule by 8 weeks. That, along with an editor dropping out, caused Netflix to pull VFX editors from other shows to help get it over the finish line. Inside this AirSats Elm Street house is a faux Freddy Krueger hanging out. He's awash with slimy tentacles. Or, maybe it's a super high-speed fiber connection. Who knows? In any case, he's honed in and connected, and knows exactly for whom the clock chimes. Nancy and Robin meet the others at the high school, as does Lucas, who narrowly avoids getting his lights knocked out by Steve. He biked 8 miles to get to his friends and warned them about Jason's witch hunt, but they've got bigger problems right now. Chrissy and Fred both died 24 hours after their first vision, and since Max just had hers, her time is running out, Matt Bellamy style. Sadie Sink is great as always at playing a cynical, jaded teen.
Of course, his asshole curses me.
Well, I mean, you were a shady sider. Curses come with the territory. Back in the Wheeler house, Nancy and Robin tell everyone about Victor Creel. He claims his family was murdered by what may have been Vecna, but that was back in the 1950s, 3 decades before Eleven opened a gate to the Upside Down. How could Vecna have gotten through to Hawkins before a gate was even there? They decide to talk to Creel since he may be the only known Vecna survivor. This whole thing kind of reminds me of the Smile Demon. Vecna targets people who have a traumatic past, and there appears to be a single survivor who could tell them how to escape the curse. To gain access to Creel's asylum, Nancy and Robin will pretend to be psych students. Steve's stuck watching babies again. Sorry, dude, but they've got to pretend to be uni students, and, well, you dumb. But you strong and you protect. So just keep the kids safe from Jason, who's currently trying to hunt down Lucas. Max writes letters for all her loved ones to be opened in the event she gets Vecna. She drops off one for her mom at home in a really touching scene. She says the letter is just in case anything happens, but her mom tells her not to worry.
Nothing is going to happen, baby. Nothing you don't deserve.
Oh, god damn it, Vecna, you ruined a really nice moment, man. Now we're in a nightmare world where the laundry lines got their Carrie Whites. Vecna says, ding dong, hello, your time is almost up. And when Max snaps back, she just moves on without confiding in her friends. Joyce and Murray get to Alaska during its pleasant spring season and travel to Yuri's fish and fly. A man greets them and tells them they're a day too late. Yuri died on a sightseeing trip to see polar bears. Haha, just kidding. He is Yuri. He's just a little prankster.
You two seem very nice, very trustworthy people, but so did my brother.
Before he stole my wife! Yuri's played by Serbian actor Nikola Jericho, who definitely gives it his all, but man, he's just too big a character for me.
I don't like him.
Yeah, me neither. I know I complained about how boring Grigori was last season, but they overcorrected when they made this ridiculous man. And he definitely shouldn't be sharing scenes with Murray. Enzo Antonov tells Hopper where to meet Yuri, so he breaks his sledgehammer and follows a guard into a shed for a replacement. Looks to me like he breaks the guard's neck, so I'll go ahead and count it as a kill. He's caught by another guard, so he beats that guy up too, and then definitely breaks his neck. We see both bodies in a later shot, confirming 2 kills hopped onto the couch just now. Then Hop blocks the door, breaks the shed to explode, and shimmies out the sunroof to escape. The shed explodes, killing 5 guards who were close enough to be engulfed by its flames. Good job, man, but how are you gonna get away? Bet you wish you had a surf cube or something, huh? Oh, a snowmobile? Yeah, that works too. Okay, James Bond! He ends up getting to Yuri's hideout in an abandoned church where he finds free peanut butter and an Elvira poster on the wall. Well, screw Hawkins, just stay here forever. And Antonov gets a call from Yuri, who informs him of a slight change of plans. He's told the prison about Hopper's whereabouts, meaning, what, god damn it, we're not done with the prison plot yet? Son of a bitch! Yuri's also informed the warden about Antonov's corruption, securing himself a whole bunch of reward money. Act now, and he'll throw in 2 Americans wanted by the KGB, since he's knocked out Joyce and Murray thanks to coffee laced with drugs. Back in Lenora, a bunch of secret agents tell the boys that Eleven's at superhero training camp since Hawkins is in danger. Again. Agent Stinson swears they're not the Brenner-led baddies from the first season. They're good guys this time around. She gives Mike a letter from Elle to prove they can be trusted. Oh, and you frummed him in it. Damn, Mike, get frummed! He and the Myers boys are put in protective custody under Agents Wallace and Harmon, who end up making themselves at home. In the bedroom, Mike and Will hash out their feelings. They've been tipping with each other, with Mike thinking Will's a downer, and Will feeling totally ignored. It gets Mike to open up.
I feel like I lost you or something.
And they agree to be best friends again.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Totally awesome. Will loves being friends. Friends is just, it's the best. They decide to use the power of friendship to save the day again and order an escape vehicle by means of pizza delivery. And of course these agents are gonna want pizza.
Surf's up, Surfer Boy Pizza. This is Argyle speaking. We make everything fresh here at Surfer Boy except for our pineapple, which comes from a can.
Probably wishing they called Pizza Hut instead, though. The doorbell rings, but it ain't the pizza pies in record time. It's a kill count pie chart because Sullivan's soldiers just crashed the pizza party. We get an awesome action scene and a long, unbroken, shaky oneer. I love it because it shows how badass Agent Harmon can be. Get you a man who can do both. During the shootout, I'll count 4 soldiers who Harmon shoots to the ground. I don't know if all those shots would be lethal, but I mean, it's gunshot kills. What the fuck do you want? Harmon is shot through the wall during his retreat, and Argyle gets there just in time for a pickup he was not expecting. Oh shit, dude, they need a Surfer Boy Pizza band skin for Fortnite. Come on, Epic, do it! Nancy and Robin go to the asylum in disguise, with Robin looking like Ali Sheedy at the end of the Breakfast Club. I love how Maya Hawke injects discomfort into Robin's every movement in this outfit. She's walking like a baby deer in those heels and constantly fidgeting with a frilly collar. It's another thing people point to when they say that she's autistic. I would also cite the way she responded to being in Nancy's room. She descended upon all the new data that might let her unlock the mystery of Nancy Wheeler. The Penhurst Mental Hospital is pretty nice as far as creepy hospitals go, with gardens and a music therapy room.
The right song, particularly one which holds personal meaning, can prove a salient stimulus.
Only thing it's missing is a human-sized chessboard. But you need one of those if you want to get big wig inmates like Mikey My. The hospital director won't let the girls see Victor without an official request. He offers them a tour instead, so Robin yes-ands like an improv pro and spins up a yarn about her past.
1978, I was at summer camp.
Oh, dude, were you a Shady Sider too? Oh, wait, actually, yeah, she was. But she was from the 94 one, not 78. Robin tells him this is for their thesis and strokes the guy's ego, saying she idolizes his work.
Other kids, they wanted to be astronauts, basketball players, rock stars, but I wanted to be you.
It's super effective. I guess Vaught was right. Girls do get it done. The director takes them to Creel's cell block. Hope there ain't a multiple makes there for your sake, girls. After convincing the director to give them some privacy, they tell Creel that they believe he's an innocent man. Whatever killed his family is back, though, and they're gonna need his help if they want to survive. He turns towards them and reveals that he gave himself the old event horizon enucleation. Oh, that is definitely infected. Robin ignores the pus and asks how he survived the night his family was killed. Creel says he wish he hadn't.
I am still very much in hell.
Victor Creel is, of course, played by Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself. Though Season 4 takes a ton of inspiration from A Nightmare on Elm Street, the Duffers hadn't planned on casting Englund. Instead, like with Sean Astin in Season 2, they were just going through audition tapes when Englund's popped up. Unlike Astin's, his was filmed in his bathtub.
The acoustics are better, bitch. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
A flashback takes us to the 1950s when the Creel family moved into a new house in Hawkins. Oh, that is good young Robert Englund casting. Victor, his wife, and his daughter Alice loved the house, but his sensitive son Henry immediately acted like something was wrong. After a month, things started getting weird, with mutilated animals appearing outside and everyone in the family having waking nightmares, from CG spiders in the tub to bawling babies all ablaze. At dinner one night, the lights started flickering, and Creel's wife Virginia flew into the air. Oh shit, there she go! She met the same bone-crunching end that we saw Chrissy and Fred suffer later on. Victor tried to save the kids, only to have a hallucination, a traumatic wartime memory of when he ordered the shelling of a building. It wound up being full of civilians instead of soldiers, including that baby he had seen earlier. Which means I've got to put this one civilian dude and one civilian baby on the kill count? Stranger Things 4's got me counting a baby? What the fuck, dude? Victor escaped his nightmare by following the voice of an angel, Ella Fitzgerald singing Dream a Little Dream on the radio. When he came to in his house, he found his daughter Alice dead and his son Henry in a coma. He was arrested for all the murders and wound up cutting out his own eyes. But right as the story's getting good and juicy, the girls are busted by the hospital director. He marches them past the music room, which helps Robin put the pieces together. Music can reach parts of the brain that words can't, and could be an escape like Ella Fitzgerald was for Creel. They ditch the director and run back to the car. Max has Steve drop her off at the cemetery so she can visit Billy's grave. She reads the letter she wrote for him, finally putting into words the feelings she's been struggling with. It's a mixture of grief and guilt that has haunted her ever since he died.
For a while, I tried to be happy. Normal. But I think that maybe a part of me died that day too.
Shadows roll in, and Max dives deep into a Vecna vision that brings Dacre Montgomery back. But Vecna's only in Billy form for a minute before reverting to his slimy self.
It is time, Max.
Nah, man, Vecna's exactly the kind of weirdo my wife would think is hot.
He is.
As her friends try to wake her up in the real world, Max tries to escape Vecna by running through his lair. Which, what, that's a separate thing from the Upside Down? I mean, yeah, at least according to the wiki, which compares it to the void we always see Eleven visit. Damn, Al, fix your place up. Look at everything Vecna's done with his mental space. Max reaches a fragmented house in Vecna's lair and finds the mummified remains of Chrissy and Fred.
How do you like that, Max?
I don't, Beck. Unable to outrun Vecna, Max finally starts screaming for help from her friends. But is it too late? Not if Nancy and Robin can help it. They walk into the others and tell them they might be able to save Max by playing her favorite song. And thankfully, she's been playing that shit on repeat. They manage to get her headphones on and play Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. The music opens up a hole in the nightmare world, but it still might be too late for Max. She begins to float in the air, a terrifying sight for her friends and the audience, considering we know damn well what happens next. But inside Vecna's lair, Max rips out one of his neck tentacles and breaks free, running up that road, running up that hill. God damn, I love this flashback-filled sequence. It makes me tear up every time, as Max finally runs towards her friends instead of turning away from them like she has all season. It helps that I'm a sucker for a good needle drop, and this already great song is enhanced by the addition of strings and an orchestra. The Duffer Brothers wrote Running Up That Hill into their scripts without even knowing if they'd be able to use it.
And then we just prayed that Kate Bush would be into the idea, because it was going to be using her song a lot.
Bush was supportive of its use, which worked out great. The show's release saw the song return to the top of the charts 37 years after its release. A cut to black gives us the slightest worry that Max didn't make it, but thankfully she crashes back to Earth and into the arms of her friends. The episode ends with a hero pose. Episode 5 kicks off in the back of the pizza van where Agent Harmon's bleeding out like Mr. Orange. He gurgles that the boys need to contact Owens and inform him that Eleven's in danger. He says the name Nina and tries to give a phone number, but before he can write it down, he succumbs to his injuries. Thanks for trying, gurgly guy. They bury the body in a junkyard while Argyle freaks the fuck out since this is the first dead body he's ever seen that we know of. He tries to make a headstone with a piece of pizza box, but the pen won't write because instead of ink, it's got a message inside. It's the phone number the agent was trying to give them, but when they call it, it sounds like 56K.
Listen to this.
The noise reminds Jonathan of War Games, the 1983 techno thriller starring Matthew Broderick, and he figures the number goes to a computer. He realized they're gonna need a hacker, so good thing this season's first episode showed us one. Dustin's long-distance girlfriend, Susie, who hacked into their school's computer to change a grade for him. They decide to drive to Utah for Susie's help, and oh, wait, no, that's all this plotline has in this episode? Okay, good talk. In Alaska, Yuri prepares to smuggle Joyce and Murray across the Iron Curtain. He ties them up and puts them in the back of his plane alongside peanut butter and porn, smuggler staples. During the trip, Joyce knocks over the peanut butter and tells Murray to grab one of the glass shards? The peanut butter used to come in glass jars? Damn, today I learned. If Murray can cut himself free, he can use the martial arts skills he's been bragging about all season.
I should mention I'm now a black belt in karate.
It turns out Murray's never fought an adult before. He's only used to fighting karate kids.
How old? It doesn't go younger than 13.
He gives it a shot anyway, with Joyce serving as a distraction. Oh man, I already thought Black Belt Murray was dumb, but now we've got a karate fight in a freaking plane? Not a fan. And yet somehow this is still only the second worst flight from hell. And honestly, these idiots are lucky they don't get Goldfinger out of that hall. Murray knocks out Yuri, leaving them without pilot, so the plane stops midair and starts hurtling towards the ground. And wow, that's another plotline wreck for this episode. Things
They
aren't
would
looking
definitely
great
be
for
dead. That would definitely would kill them.
Cleaning up hands? You know, I really don't
Don't know how
back and
they
forth
survived
about
that. That would definitely would have killed them.
That's coming from someone who loved Jacques and Hagar so much, we made a Kimmy Schmidt Pinot Noir parody on our old channel. His suave whisper line delivery just feels over the top sometimes, but it does lend itself well to some moments I truly love.
We gambled today, and we lost. We lost.
A despondent Hopper opens up about his fear.
I used to think I was cursed.
Wait, you too? Is everyone in Hawkins a shady side transplant? He says that during Vietnam, he worked in chemical warfare, mixing batches of Agent Orange. That exposure probably caused his daughter Sarah's illness and death. Wow, this is some heavy shit for Stranger Things. He's afraid that he hurts everyone he loves, and that Joyce is no exception. After all, she wouldn't be captured right now if he had never sent her that note.
I sentenced her to death. Just like I did with Sarah.
And just like he did himself, as they hear a noise that Hopper recognizes. The Russians have a goddamn Demogorgon. Chrissy's funeral fans the flames of satanic panic in town. That's bad news for Lucas when his teammates find a picture of him in the Hellfire Club. Now, back in episode 3, we saw Vecna take a trip through his fiber connection to spy on people's dark secrets and trauma. Dude, this is dark web. The Duffer saw Vecna as a villain who preys on teenage angst and anxiety and all the other negative emotions they remembered from those years. In this case, Vecna's web search found Patrick, a kid on the basketball team, after following sounds of a father berating his son. Now Patrick's seeing things, clock things, and is afraid that Eddie has somehow cursed him. Jason doesn't believe in the supernatural, so he thinks Eddie is just a run-of-the-mill murderer. They go down a list of places to search for Eddie and land on Reefer Ridge. Elsewhere in Hawkins, the kids regroup at Nancy's house to Ted Wheeler's delight.
Could try sticking together at a different house for a change.
Can always count on that patriot to curmudgeon up a scene. Max tells the others about her Vecna experience and how it took place in what seemed like his lair.
Like Freddy Krueger's boiler room.
Yeah, you know, minus the sheep. She tries to draw what she saw there, believing it to be the inside of Vecna's mind. It's the same method Will used to warn everyone about the mind flayer. Will was such a good little artist.
God, we need Will.
Yeah, well, this ain't season 2 and Max ain't got a bowl cut. Thankfully, her art still does the trick, and Nancy recognizes a stained glass window with roses. She puts together the hardest fucking puzzle I've ever seen, rearranging the pieces to reveal the Creel house. They head to the Creel house, where Max recognizes the door from her hallucination. Too bad it's locked.
I found a key.
I'll always pop for that joke. I've been using it myself ever since I saw Chopping Mall as a kid.
Don't worry, I got the keys.
The kids head inside the Creel house, which has remained untouched since the 50s. The interior here is a set, but the exterior was a Victorian mansion located outside Rome, Georgia. Production had to travel nearly 2 hours to use it, but it was exactly what they wanted. They even based the interior sets on the real house's interior. Using a set proved helpful when it came to recreating it in Vecna's mind layer, since it was made in fragments that could twist and break apart as needed. Vecna's layer in general is also a set, expanded by digital effects, partly inspired by the bleak paintings of German painter Caspar David Friedrich. A little bit of searching reveals the big bonging granddaddy clock live and in the dust.
Why is this wizard obsessed with clocks? Maybe he's like a clockmaker or something?
Think you cracked the case, Steve?
Damn, Dustin's a real roastmaster general this season. The kids split up to explore the house, going off in pairs of new friendships, old friendships, and exes. But Max and Lucas still might have a spark between them. Wait, no, sorry, that's just the lights flickering. But this house doesn't have electricity, so those lights must mean Vecna's there on the other side in the Upside Down, just like Will's presence affected lights back in season 1. Following the flickers, they find steps to an attic that look a lot like the ones in The Changeling. In fact, the previous episode showed a reference to that movie with a wheelchair in the attic during Victor's flashback. The Vecna hunt causes Dustin to miss a distress call from Eddie. The basketball team is closing in on him after going to reefer rigs and noticing the boathouse out back. Eddie flees by boat, but when the motor doesn't start, he has to paddle his ass away. The jocks see him in pursuit. Aw, Eddie, those are varsity athletes. Even with a paddle, you're up Shit's Creek. Lucky for him, Vecna's decided to make his move on Patrick. At the Creel house, everyone's flashlights sync up like wristbands at a pop concert. That's because Vecna's rocking in the Upside Down, which for Patrick means it's time to float. His body lifts out of the water and breaks all over the place. Jason watches in horror as his teammate gets dumped. Vecna's kills were meant to be visceral and upsetting, without gratuitous gore like blood or bones breaking out of the skin. They shot the actors suspended in the air and had them act out the bone breaking, but the VFX team had to do a lot of work to make it more impactful.
The first thing that came back is that they were not gruesome enough. So real life is not disgusting enough.
Dr. Owens is driving Eleven to a top-secret location in the desert. They pull up to Don Hell's nightclub, which is actually an abandoned missile silo from the early Cold War. Now it's a lab, and her new home. Just hope she doesn't get trapped down there with a confessed arsonist. The silo lab was meant to contrast heavily with the slick Death Star-inspired Russian base from Season 3. The design team emphasized a sense of grit and claustrophobic tightness, built the set as one continuous space of nearly 300 feet. Owens tells Eleven that they plan to bring her powers back using this machine called Nina. Down the hall is the Pinta and the Santa Maria. Just kidding. Down the hall is something worse.
Hello, Eleven.
Peroxide Papa is here and alive, which I can't help but feel was a ruined surprise. The opening scene spoiled his return. Kinda like in Saw 3D when the opening scene spoiled the return of Lawrence Gordon, who, not sure if you knew this, is a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
Oh, hey, so is Brenner. You guys can be friends. Seeing Brenner causes Elle to panic and flee, but she's grabbed and gets a nasty needling. Yeah, sure. Do another hero pose thing. Okay. She wakes up in a memory with her hair short again. She's back in the Rainbow Room at Hawkins' lab, and it's 1979, just like the season's opening scene. To de-age Eleven for these scenes, when the character would have been about 8, Lola VFX shot footage of Millie Bobby Brown with a device called the Lola egg. It captured a wide variety of her expressions, which they were then able to digitally graft onto the body of scanded Marty Blair, who was actually 8 or 9 years old in real life. Elle tries to leave, but her location resets like a time loop in a trippy video game. This is Nina in action. The machine is allowing her to live in her memories. Brenner explains over the speakers that Nina was named for an opera about a woman unburying a suppressed traumatic memory. To unlock her powers, Eleven will need to do the same, reenact her memories while her body floats there, looking like the world's loneliest precog. The loop resets again, and this time Eleven plays along, joining Brenner and the other kids for training. Numbers, numbers!
Yes, Papa!
Eating sugar?
Yes, Papa!
Oh, well, I'm glad you admitted it. Johnny never did. The memory shifts to the Rainbow Room massacre from the first episode, and Eleven goes into cardiac arrest. They revive her, and she's like, "Fuck you for that nightmare, I'm outie! Run away!" She gets cornered again, so she screams, causing everything to blow up around her. Looks like her powers are starting to come back, and that taste of them is enough to convince her to stay. After all, Papa says he knows how to get them all the way back, and he's got a new nickname for her.
Daughter.
Aw, what a sweet moment for everyone. Except for those guys. Actually, wait, are they? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and count him as dad. You killed those dudes, 11. Good job. Stranger Things 4 was released in 2 parts, and because of its length, we last left off with 11 getting her telepathic group back. Things are looking up for her, but they're looking pretty bleak for Agent Wallace, who survived the shootout at the buyer's house, only to get captured and tortured by Sullivan. He thinks 11's gone rogue and killy again, and that Brenner is trying to cover it up and maybe even sell her to the Soviets. Luckily, Wallace doesn't snitch to Sturmy Sully, so 11 can resume her work with Brenner in peace. He tells her she's not an idiot sandwich. She's a little superhero. Boop. All she has to do is remember how to wield her powers. To help her do that, they're gonna review some tapes like Marlon Wayans and him. Nina sends her back to the Rainbow Room to play Venca. Season 4's Rainbow Room was made by returning production designer Chris Trujillo, who's been with the series from the start. He took inspiration from the antiseptic look of Scandinavian children's homes and hospitals.
We wanted to like infuse it with this sort of, you know, an attempt was made to make it feel like, you know, appropriate for children, but it's just fundamentally this cold, unpleasant space.
A blonde orderly encourages 11. Oh shit, hey, that's Anthony from friggin' Sweeney Todd! He tells 11 as she reminds him of one, the very first of Brenner's test subjects. But Papa told 11 that one doesn't actually exist.
Sometimes, Papa doesn't tell the truth.
Papa's also running a telekinetic kid fight club, complete with sumo circles and blindfolds. Damn, that one kid's cracking his toe knuckles. You know this shit is serious. 2 here is the heavyweight champion and keeps kicking everyone's asses in psychic tug of war. He knocks down all the other numbers in a row until there's only one left. Well, 2 ones, because it's 11. She follows the orderly's advice and uses a painful memory to access her powers. A memory of her mother, whom the orderly said is still alive. It allows her to flush number 2 out of his circle with a powerful force push. Ah, man, never power force push a number 2. In any case, Elle becomes the heavyweight champion. Youngest to ever do it, too. Later, Elle is still failing at Plinko when she hears screaming from another room. That orderly is getting the ever-loving shit shocked out of him. But no time to worry about that, because the other numbers surround her and give her a psychic shove. You can't see it, but one of them was psychically crouched behind her. They force push her around a bunch, and I find it kind of silly looking, to be honest. She ends the memory seeing flashes of dead kids and wakes up realizing something.
I killed them all.
Okay.
I killed them all.
The pizza man gets to Utah and rolls up to Susie's palace of precociousness.
Can you not see that we are filming?
This is yet another scene that's just too silly for me, especially with the music, which I think is sometimes overbearing this season. Amidst the chaos of her Mormon family, the boys convince Susie to trace an IP address to a location in Nevada. Then she prints out the coordinates for them, like this were ye olde MapQuest days. Quick, to the Pizza Mobile! Joyce and Murray have fully crashed Yuri's plane and are worrying about a Yellow Jacket situation. They threaten to leave Yuri to die until he agrees to lead them through the wilderness. He warns that they'll need to reach the prison by nightfall to save Hopper, if he's not dead already. He's not, but he might be soon, because he and the other prisoners are herded out of their cells and served a feast. It's their last meal before the guards throw them into a monster pit. Hopper goads Antonov into a fight so he can get beat up and put in a cell for like the 100th fucking time this season. God! But the ruse allowed him to smuggle vodka and a lighter into their cell. He says that fire is the only known weakness of a Demogorgon, and that this is their best shot at killing it. Yuri takes Joyce and Murray to church, where Murray says they don't need to break into the prison. They can walk in under the guise of a prisoner drop-off. They'll just have to swap roles. Murray will play Yuri, and Yuri will play Murray. Joyce, you're still Joyce. No acting for you. In Hawkins, the police arrive at the scene of Patrick's death to find a shell-shocked Jason holding the body. The guy definitely believes in the supernatural now. He tries to tell the cops he saw Eddie Munson with the devil, but they don't believe him.
How do you expect to stop the devil if you don't believe he's real?
Later, Dustin and the others arrive at Reefer Riggs to find it crawling with cops and reporters. Eddie is officially announced as a person of interest in the murders, scaring all the families of Hawkins.
What are we even doing? I mean, where's the FBI?
Good old Fetty Teddy. Never changed, dude. The wrongful accusation of Eddie was partially inspired by Damien Eccles. Eccles was a member of the West Memphis Three teens who were arrested for the alleged killing of 3 younger boys during a satanic ritual. The conviction wasn't based on physical evidence, but rather the music and video games the 3 teens were into. Eccles got the harshest sentence and was placed on death row. Thankfully, a combination of public support and advanced DNA testing exonerated them, and they were released after 18 years in prison. Eddie calls the others with a stolen walkie-talkie. Were those really just laying around like that in the 80s? He lets them know that he's hiding at Skull Rock, which looks like one of those cool Mighty Max toys, and the gang is able to hoof it over and meet him there. Meanwhile, a town hall is held, where the Hawkins PD gets yelled at for letting Eddie go. Sheriff Powell's responses aren't strong enough to prevent a high school jock from taking the floor.
I agree, I've had enough. In fact, I think we've all had enough.
Jason whips the town into a frenzy. He blames the mall fire and unexplained deaths over the years on devil worshippers like the Hellfire Club. Erica tries to stand up for her brother and his friends, but these guys have pamphlets. Pamphlets with the boys on them. Yeah, that's not good. The b-ball captain cites Bible passages and goes full Jason Gemstone on the crowd.
God knows, there's good in this town. So much good. It's in this room.
Watching Hawkins fall into a mob mentality is honestly scarier than Vecna. It's so close to what happened in small towns all over the U.S. during the real satanic panic. Dustin's compass is acting up, just like it did before when it was near a gate to the Upside Down. They follow the interference to Lover's Lake and realize the gate is in the middle of the lake, where Vecna killed Patrick.
There's a gate down there? Is it technically a water gate?
The older kids hop on a boat to check it out, leaving Dustin, Max, and Lucas on the shore without a babysitter. Steve's done with that shit. After all, he's such a man now! Look at that chest hair! Nancy sure is. Steve dives in and finds the gate at the bottom of the lake, looking like an aquatic scarlet starling. The cops arrive and spot the kids, so Max causes a diversion while Nancy and the others dive in after Steve. Eddie, most reluctantly and gracelessly. A tentacle pops out of the gate and drags Steve into a camera inversion, cause he in the Upside Down now, motherfucker! And he's a meatloaf dinner for a bunch of bats out of hell who get straight to strangling and nibbling on him. Robin and the gang interrupt the Minoc buffet.
Hey there.
Come on, don't quip. This man is being eaten alive. They bash the bats away while Steve takes a bite out of one like he's Ozzy. Eddie even brings it up later.
That was a real Aussie move you pulled back there.
If you somehow didn't know, in 1982, Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off a dead bat during a Black Sabbath show in Des Moines. He was rushed to the hospital for rabies shots and lived to rock for decades more. R.I.P. to a legend. Wait, do demo bats have rabies? Demo rabies? Better hope not. There's no time to get a shot. Especially not with another swarm on its way, forcing them to flee into the woods. Not much cover there. I mean, it's no magic mosses. But it does the trick, and they're able to hide from the Sky Terrors as Nancy tends to Steve's wounds and Eddie figures out where he is.
So, this place is like Hawkins, but with monsters and nasty shit?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Over in Russia, it's time for Hopper and his prison pals to do the monster mash. Enzo warns Hopper that his plan is nuts and that they'll need a miracle to pull it off. Well, how about a miracle? Because he just got to the prison with a gagged Joyce and Yuri in tow. His Russian ain't too rusty, so he convinces the guards and the warden that he's actually Yuri. They're led to some box seats just in time for the show. They watch as a buzzer sounds, signaling the prisoners that it's time to grab weapons and get ready to fight. Hopper uses cloth, the vodka, and the lighter to MacGyver a flaming spear. Murray shoves a gun into the warden's side and warns him not to move or he'll shoot. But the warden says Hopper's as good as dead, because that Demogorgon's a-comin', and he's the star of the show. Or at least he was in season 1. He proves he ain't washed as he fucking wrecks 5 of the prisoners in an awesome continuous slobber knocker. I mean, literally, that dude's face just got slobbered all over. Oh, Demogorgon, you still got it! Hopper pushes the monster back with his fire spear, an effective weapon, but not effective enough to stop another prisoner from getting demogored, leaving only Hopper and Antonov still standing. The 15-second continuous action shot took the VFX team an entire month to make, but it was worth it to the Duffers, who wanted to let the Demogorgon loose and show what it could do amidst clear, bright lighting. Back in Season 1, budgetary and technological constraints kept the monster lurking in the shadows, but now, with the help of Rodeo effects, they could bring it to the forefront to fuck shit up. The Demogorgon is fully animated by Rodeo. No mocap. The actors were all acting against nothing, so they could have clean shots to put the monster into. But they did shoot rehearsals with the performer in a green screen suit holding a tennis ball as a height reference, and some of those shots wound up getting used.
In the edit, sometimes the takes with the man in the green suit were the best takes, and so we went with those, and sometimes it was clean pass, which is why when you're looking behind the scenes, you're going to see a little bit of both.
Everything was choreographed by returning stunt coordinator Hiro Koda, who's been with the show since season 3. This oneer is actually 3 stunt sequences stitched together. They were doing a lot of wire work and didn't want to try to capture it all at once, since that would be more dangerous for the stunt performers. In fact, the bar that falls during this sequence wasn't supposed to come down like that. It was a mistake they left in because they thought it looked cool, and it does. Thanks to more crappy karate antics, Murray and Joyce are able to beat boop on a bunch of buttons to open a door in the pit. Hop and Ant escape, and when the Demogorgon tries to follow, Hopper spears it in the face. Hell yeah, bullseye! He and Joyce are finally reunited, with slow motion and sappy synths and everything. Wait, just a hug? After all that? Yeah, I guess they probably don't get toothbrushes in the gulag. Lucas, Dustin, and Max have been taken to the Wheeler house, where they're threatened with police brutality.
You're lucky you didn't get shot.
And good old-fashioned bootlicking.
Lying to the cops is a crime, son.
Threaten them with a little jail time. Maybe that'll loosen their lips.
Order for Ted Wheeler? They stick to their story of being out for a night swim, so the cops opt to separate them for individual questioning. While Max is in the hot seat, Dustin and Lucas bring Erica up to speed. They realize that every time Vecna kills someone, it opens another gate to the Upside Down, and he may even be working for the Mind Flayer as a member of his army.
The Demogorgon was just his foot soldier. Vecna's his 5-star general.
To fight that Upside Down army, Nancy and the older teens are going to need some arms, so they head to her Upside Down house to get her Upside Down guns. On the way over there, Eddie tells Steve about how much Dustin worships him.
I don't even know why I care what that little shrimp thinks, but I guess I got a little jealous, Steve.
He's also jealous of Steve's heroism, since all he's ever done is run like a coward. Not like Nancy, who jumped into the lake after Steve without a second thought.
That is as unambiguous a sign of true love as these cynical eyes have ever seen.
They get to Nancy's house, but her guns are nowhere to be found. In their place are old shoes and a stuffed animal she got rid of years ago. She realizes that the Upside Down hasn't been keeping up with the present. It stuck how Hawkins was 2.5 years ago, on the day Will went missing and the first gate opened up. For scenes like this, production had to make sure to match all the locations' details from season 1. The Upside Down sets were almost entirely practical, down to the signature floating specs, which are made of organic materials like pussy willow fluff.
Pussy Willow.
Calm down, Ben. Steve can hear Dustin's voice echoing through the house as he familiarizes with Lucas and Erica. But Dustin can't hear them, so they're gonna have to pull a season 1 Will and communicate through lights. They send out an SOS to Dustin, which gives them all raver traces. Whoa, dude, they can, like, see light. Are they on Molly?
Kinda feels good.
Oh shit, they might be. Dustin grabs a light bright so they can spell out words, and he tells them they can escape the Upside Down through the gate in Eddie's trailer. Robin asks if there are bikes here, and I'm like, dude, did you even watch season 1? It was as bike-tastic as the Stephen King story. The Right Side Up kids will meet them there on the other side, so they also take their bikes and ride away. They be sure to pop cop tires on their way out. Sabotulas! We get an awesome shot that shows how everyone be riding bikes. No
And
matter
that's
which
the
way
end
it's
of
up.
the cop
Great stuff.
plot.
But there's a spy eye on the Upside
Yeah, they
Down
just
gang from a
get
local
rid of that
town
plot.
back in the
Like, after they pop the tires, it's just gone. We don't see the cops ever chase the kids ever again. Kind of weird how the Duffers just dropped that plot line.
The physics are confusing, but it's fun to watch them climb from one world to the other.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's what I said. But when it's Nancy's turn, she doesn't pop out of the right side up. She falls into a void like she's Alice in Vecna Land. She's trapped in a nightmare, finally living out her namesake from A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's her most traumatic memory, the night Barb died in Steve's swimming pool. Man, he's really got to replace the blood filter. Things going haywire. At the world-saving training bunker, Elle's not passing class. Brenner thinks she's getting weaker, actually. Wow, what a little wimp. She's terrified of being a monster, but he tells her that most people aren't as simple as good or evil. We have to face all of ourselves, good and bad, to be whole. So you get in that mind, and you find that fucking truth! To speed things up, Papa pulls out a tape from the day of the massacre. He's skipping to the end of the season for 11. She plugs back in for another swim down memory lane, where she finds Papa talking to his various sized number children. She doesn't narc about the bullying, but you can tell number 2 was the offending little shit. Kid gets a shock collar as a punishment. Yeah, that'll teach him to bark so much. During a game of chess, the orderly warns 11 that 2 and his friends are planning to kill her, and that Papa is gonna let it happen. He slips her a key card and promises to help her escape, so they meet in the boiler room and he leads her to an escape pipe. He tells her to take it even though he can't follow. He has to stay behind due to a tracking chip in his head called Soteria. It's named after the Greek goddess of safety and preservation from harm. Papa put it in there, but Elle offers to help him get it out. She promptly removes it with a bit of psychic surgery. Scary guards surround them, but now the orderly is free, and he force powers the shit out of them, snapping one dude's neck. Damn, man, this guy would win a round of Jedi Outcast so freaking fast. He rolls up his sleeve and confirms what you may have already suspected. He's keeping it 100. Or, wait, no, sorry, he's 1. That's a 001. He leaves Elle and she later walks in on him as he finishes executing Order 66. Not the younglings! And, you know what, I guess some of them were dicks. Anyway, turns out 11 didn't kill those kids. It was the orderly formerly known as 1. He tells Elle a story from his childhood, back when he was known as Henry Creel, Victor's son. Henry found a nest of black widows after moving into their new house. He viewed them as gods that eliminated pests, and wanted to do the same to humans, whom he found annoying and weak. He used his psychic abilities to punish his parents and remind them of their sins, before eventually murdering his mother and sister. The matricide caused him to pass out, and when he awoke, he was in the custody of Martin Brenner, brunette style. He was to become patient 0, or I guess patient 1, of a new program for psychically talented kids. You know, like the ones who are now dead on the floor over there. 1 asks 11 to join him and help restore balance to a world broken by human society. It's a classic, we're not so different, you and I, villain spiel. El refuses and throws him against the wall, kicking off an all-out psychic fight! One gets the upper hand, literally, and sets 11 up for what could be the coolest choke slam of all friggin' time, dude. But before she becomes the first person to get magnetized, she travels through a wormhole to a happy memory of her mother, comes out with a new resolve to beat him. Without realizing what she's doing, she opens the very first gate to the Upside Down and forces one through. It looks pretty similar to what she did to the Demogorgon at the end of Season 1. One falls through a landscape of thunderbolts and lightning, and it's very, very frightening as he gradually transforms into a monster, looking like Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar. And also a little Matt Smith there, right? Am I crazy? The last shot of the episode shows the faded remains of a 001 tattoo on Vecna's wrist. This is a huge moment in the season. The revelation that 4 characters are actually one person. The mysterious orderly, the mythical one, young Henry Creel, and the big bad Vecna are all the same person. Such a reveal really hinges on the performance here, and Jamie Campbell Bower absolutely kills it. He's so good at switching from his earlier warmth towards Al to pure, cold-blooded menace. Makes sense that his audition featured 2 wildly different sets of sides, one from Primal Fear and the other from Hellraiser. Much like Andrew Divoff playing Nathaniel Demarest and the Djinn, Bower plays both the human and the monstrous forms of his character, meaning he was the one undergoing Barry Gower's extensive makeup work. Instead of a rubber suit, which might look bad and restrict movement, they glued a series of prosthetics directly to Bower's skin. He'd get to set at 3 a.m. so 4 people could spend 7 hours transforming him. Then he'd have to shoot an entire day and spend 1 more hour getting everything removed. The material was heavy, 20 to 30 pounds just on his head and shoulders, and included dentures over his teeth and full scleral contact lenses. The final touch was a layer of slime achieved with KY jelly and the makeup gel Ultra Wet.
We really put him through the mill. There wasn't anything else we could get on Jamie.
But Bower never let the process deter him, and took to the prosthetics with excitement. He used them to help find the physicality of the character, especially the 10-inch mechanical finger extensions they built for his hand. They were made of aluminum extensions with foam latex on the outside, and he looks like he's having a blast with them. Finally, for his voice, he referenced Doug Bradley's work as Pinhead and used a deep, booming tone that came naturally to him.
They kept on saying, "Oh, we love your voice, we love your voice." And I was thinking, what do you mean you love my voice? That's just how I talk.
The Grand Vecna reveal was the end of the first part of Season 4, which was released on May 27, 2022. This 2-part release strategy was a first for the show. Though I split the kill counts for the first 2 seasons into 2 videos each, Stranger Things had always released all its episodes at once, in traditional Netflix style. But Season 4's episodes were just too long for one big release, since the Duffers said they couldn't figure out how to condense the scripts without cutting too much out of all the disparate storylines. Netflix was more than willing to accommodate that.
Is Netflix just totally on board with this? Do you have carte blanche to do whatever you want?
No. Might not have been a literal blank check, but the budget was estimated at $270 million, or $30 million an episode. Audiences had to wait a whole month between episode 7 and episode 8. But we don't. The show returned on July 1st, 2022, with episode 8, which picks things up back in Eleven's memory. She closes the wall fissure when Dr. Brenner finds her and says, "God,
what have you done?
You're a small psychic girl, and you're covered in blood." That brings us back to the season's opening scene, only with the newfound knowledge that all those kills weren't done by 11, they were done by 1, who we see get tatted up by Brenner as Nancy watches from inside his mindscape. With Nancy in a transie, the kids search for music to snap her out of it, but can't find anything in Eddie's heavy metal collection. That's okay, maybe she doesn't want to be saved, because Vecna's walking straight towards her, and apparently he's so hot. Seriously, hear me out's have gone too far. He wraps her up in tentacles. Oh God, it's getting worse! And steps up to her, giving us another great close-up look at him in all his fleshy glory. He tells Nancy he wants her to deliver a message to 11, and shows her a vision of a potential future where entire streets of Hawkins have become gates to the Upside Down. In Russia, the Camp Shitka is hitting the fan at the prison as the not-yet-dead Demogorgon throws a Demofit and a Demodor. Yeah, good luck fighting that thing, yo. Hopper and Joyce share a tender moment, aided by some first-aid foreplay. She tells him about his post-mortem reputation back home.
You're the hero of Hawkins.
And that 11 misses her dad.
We all do.
The moment is interrupted by a climbing Demogorgon.
Apparently they can climb, too.
Man, you never want to think and fly now. A bunch of bullets don't do shit to put it down, as it charges at a cell block officer and kills him off-screen, based on the noises we hear. Other noises lead everyone to a lab to see what's on the slab. And holy Doug Dimmadome, it's a Demodog! Guys, it's a Demodog! Isn't this awesome? Oh, Hopper doesn't like it. That's okay, there's a whole alien resurrection stash of species and Bacta tanks up in this bitch. And within the most secure cell is a frickin' flesh tornado? Oh, is finisher? Oh, I guess it's swirling mind flayer particles, caught in a spin cycle or something. Enzo finds an escape vent, so they climb through it out to snowy freedom. They persuade the loathsome Yuri to fly them back to Alaska with the strongest rhetorical device, a gun. He leads them to a busted-ass helicopter named Katinka, where she'll leave Katinka in to make the trip.
For me, she is still a virgin.
Helicopter? He barely knows her! In the lab, Brenner and Owens revive Eleven with an airplane emergency oxygen mask. She's feeling like her old self again. Maybe even better, since she walks up to Nina and lifts that shuttle off the ground like a Kerbal Space Program Pro. Nice! Now she can go back to Lenora and disintegrate Angela's stupid face. Or go to Hawkins and defeat Vecna. As long as they're items A and B. She knows Vecna's threatening Hawkins since she saw her friends during her psychic coma. She even saw the visions Vecna showed Nancy of death and destruction. His evil ass ain't dead, but he's trying to unleash an army of darkness onto Hawkins. The Hawkins gang would also like to prevent that from happening. Max realizes that Vecna's clock always chimes exactly 4 times in her vision. So, like many villains before him, turns out he can't resist giving away his own plan through hints and clues. He's trying to kill 4 victims to open 4 gates to the Upside Down and trigger the end of the world. After Chrissy, Fred, and Patrick, that means he's only 1 kill away. Nancy guesses that their Vecna problem is tied to 11 somehow, since whenever they call Lenora, they get nothing but radio silence. Well, ready or not, even without their superhero, they're gonna try to find and kill Vecna. They figure if they attack him while he's plugged into his murder matrix, it'll be like slaying Dracula while he's asleep in his coffin. Van Helsing will lead the team as they arm up and take the fight to the Upside Down. But they'll need to guarantee that Vecna's in a trance when they attack, which means using Max as bait. She agrees to stop running up that hill and toss her tubes, tempting the Vectinator to hone in on her. Elle watches all this like Matthew McConaughey watching his daughter from the bookshelf. She tells Owens that she wants to go help her friends kill Vecna, but Brenner insists she's not ready. He's like, girl, get real. Hank's a scary motherfucker by now. But Owens supports her and says they can't keep her against her will.
You may not agree with it, but here she is, standing before us, making a choice.
Aw, he's like a friendly uncle. Wait, if Brenner's Papa, does that make Owens Unk? Well, Papa don't like losing authority, so Unk is assaulted and 11 is locked inside the bomb shelter. Papa says they'll kill Owens if 11 tries to leave, and that they've got to finish what they started so Vecna can be defeated one and for all. 11 blames Brenner for all the kills I counted in this series, and everything else. The gate opening, the mind flayer, and probably even Will's stupid haircut. It's all because he refused to let Henry Creel go. She's finally realized who the bad guy is.
It is not me. It is you. You are the monster.
It's a cliched yet empowering moment for her, and she goes to leave, but on her way out, he sure does get her with some neck-injected drugs. They must have really stocked up on those. Armed with Susie's coordinates, the pizza van heads towards the Nina project. Mike worries that even if they can help save 11, she won't want to be with him anymore. I mean, she's a literal superhero, and he's just that guy from Hell of a Summer. Will takes the opportunity to cheer Mike up with a painting he's been working on. It shows their D&D party fighting a dragon together, with Mike on the front line since he's the heart of the group. Much like the dude's rug, he really ties everything together. Will soft launches his coming out by talking about 11, even though he's really talking about himself.
When you're different, sometimes you feel like a mistake. But you make her feel like she's not a mistake at all.
Mike's gaydar is completely busted, but Jonathan picks up on the subtext from the front seat. It's a good scene that finally makes Will interesting for the first time since season 1. Noah Schnapp really brings it here as he leaps into the window like it's the fireplace in Call Me By Your Name. The group nearly gets lost in the desert until Argyle spots military-issue tire tracks that leads them towards the lab. That's where 11 wakes up with a shock collar since Brenner just loves treating kids like dogs. Before he can get back to training though, they've got a visitor, old Sturdy Sully and his gunny friends. Great, now we've got 2 sides with a bunch of guys and guns. I'm sure this will be fun to count. The alarm sounds as Sully's men storm the silo, resulting in 6 soldiers getting slaughtered. 5 of Brenner's and 1 of Sullivan's. Pretty bad KD there, science guys! Sullivan finds a handcuffed Unk, but no 11 or Dr. Brenner. He's carried her out of a hatch into the desert where... Oh, come on! There are a bunch of bodies to count? Why are there 9 dead scientists here? What the hell happened? Looks like they were shot by a helicopter sniper who hits Brenner non-lethally with a bullet in the shoulder. Brenner tries to run away with 11 in his arms, but gets down by a shot in the buttocks. And another through the back, damn. The sniper takes aim at 11, while Owens makes a well-reasoned and impassioned plea to keep her alive. Sturdy Sully don't budge and tells his man to take the shot. Before he can, though, a funny-smelling pizza truck rolls over the horizon. Elle uses the distraction to raise her hand and psychically grab a hold of the chopper. Around and around it goes. Where it stops,
That was so dumb. I always thought that was so dumb. Like, they have her in their sights, and they're like, wait a minute, a car? Oh, well, I guess we can't shoot her because we see a car. So dumb. We can't shoot her because we see a car. So dumb.
With extra forehead touching. Elle embraces Mike and Will, while Argyle tries to remember how exactly I am. Her collar gets released by a still-living Dr. Brenner, and the boys are all like, wait, who's that guy? Know him? Do they know him? Have they met him? Eleven goes to Brenner, who begs for understanding and forgiveness.
I've only ever wanted to help you. To protect you.
I don't think she buys that dying-ish, and after he boops her on the nose, he says goodbye. Brenner breathes his last breath. Until they reveal he somehow survived and Matthew Modine returns in season 5. Don't do it, Stranger Things! Elle warns Mike that if they don't
Don't do it, Stranger Things.
everyone is going to die. But girl, that's the friggin' Midwest. It's over 2,000 miles away. Too bad they're not there, because
Hopefully Brenner dies and he doesn't just show up in season 5 alive and well.
Well, thank God for season 2, because Max has got a Mikey My mask. Oh, they were so little back then. And he uses it to disguise himself as he hotwires an RV. Steve will drive it.
Harrington's got her. Didn't you, big boy?
Damn, this sucks for those people who just got their house stolen. Wait, was their house a Whataburger? As they head to a gun store called the War Zone, Steve tells Nancy he's always dreamed of driving around a big family in an RV. I mean, he's had lots of practice wrangling big groups of kids, so he's kind of qualified. In the back, Lucas tells Max he doesn't want her to be Vecna bait, but she's got a plan. If his whole thing depends on seeing the darkness in people, she'll run to the light like Carol Ann and just think of her happiest memory. And yeah, it involves you, Lucas. Don't make a big deal out of it or anything. God, they get to the War Zone, which is a decent location to go to the base. Robin sees her crush Vicky looking all Molly Ringwald, but she's hugging on an Emilio Estevez type. That dude is into kinky shit too, like getting a chainsaw shoved up his ass. Nah, I'm sorry for the Terrifier jump scare, but that is Mason McCarty, who was the shower scene victim in Terrifier 3, and is also a really cool guy. Robin assumes Vicky must be straight, but she shouldn't forget Fast Times, or ignore that lingering eye contact. I'm saying there's a chance. Nancy discovers they're not the only ones arming up with weapons. Jason and his cronies are there too, doing the same, and he sees the gang when they leave in the RV. With their new arsenal, the gang prepares for their fight with Vecna and all his annoying bat minions.
Are you really ready for battle?
Oh, come on, Eddie. Give him inspiration for that. Nancy Oakley saws off the barrel of her shotgun. Eddie nails shield making. And Steve and Robin toast Molotov cocktails to their luck, even if she's not the most optimistic about their chances.
It might not work out for us this time.
Still, the only thing they can do is try, as the penultimate episode of the season ends with the remixed version of Journey's Separate Ways, Worlds Apart. Frontman Steve Perry liked it so much, he helped make an extended version of it. The epic music continues as they split up, with Max, Lucas, and Erica going to the Creel house in the right side up, and the others flipping over into the upside down. The season finale begins back in Russia, which fucking sucks. I swear, every time the show cuts to Russia, I let out a heavy sigh. Just so sick of Murray and Yuri. I am glad Joyce and Hopper finally get naked together, though. That sexual tension's thicker than smuggled peanut butter, though not as thick as hot scar tissue. He tells her his prison stint gave him time to dwell on regrets, like putting Joyce in danger and, hopefully, acting like a doofus sitcom dad last season. They fantasize about the dinner date they'll finally share back home, and Hop even starts talking dirty.
And then there's dessert.
You gotta have dessert.
Gotta have dessert.
I think. Then, after 4 seasons and 6 years of build-up, they finally share a kiss. Yeah, this is a finale. We getting payoffs, motherfuckers! They find out from a phone call with Agent Stinson that the kids are fighting evil. Again. Since they're out here in BFE, they'll have to help from afar. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have this plot line in the finale. And we wouldn't want that. They decide to destroy the Mind Flayer particles they saw back in the prison, hoping it'll hurt the hive mind enough to help. Things get kind of action movie for a mo, while Hop plots out their reverse prison break.
Breaking back in's gonna be easier than breaking back out. That's why we need an airlift. This is where you come in.
They're like the Dirty Dozen, except a third of the size. So, a Dirty Foursome. Strike that. Leaving the Russians to tink and think, Hop grabs a flamethrower and drives back to the prison with Murray and Joyce. Back in Hawkins, Nancy lays out the season finale plan for their plot line. First, Erica will find where Vecna's hiding, then signal from the right side up to the others in the upside down. Then Max will bait Vecna from the right side up Creel house, causing V-Man to become vulnerable. In the upside down, Dustin and Eddie will draw the bats away, leaving the Creel house undefended as well. Nancy, Steve, and Robin, aka the Dreamy Team, will attack him in his lair in the upside down and take him down. They climb down, I don't know, through the rift in Eddie's trailer and set the plan in motion.
Hey, Steve.
fight surges, Erica finds where Vecna's hiding in the Creel house and runs off to the playground to alert Nancy and the Upside Down. A concerned citizen sees her running around, so he does what any responsible adult would do and calls a bunch of angry high school jocks with guns. We get a series of patented Stranger Things scenes, one-on-one walk and talks with different character pairings. Listen, I like all these characters, and I like seeing them interact in different combinations, but there are way too many one-on-one walk and talks in the finale, and they're pretty much all in a row. It's too much. Steve tells Nancy he's a changed man, and that she's the one who made him better. He wishes he had been better sooner, so they could have a nice big family in an RV together. Max and Lucas have another one of those scenes, but for the hearing impaired, or hearing embushed, since Max still has Kate running through her ears. Erica signals them, as well as Steve and Nancy in the Upside Down, moving the plan into Phase 2. Max switches off her music and gets to Julie James and Olbeck.
What are you waiting for?
Girl, you yelling at a bug zapper. Since the desert gang is, in the desert, they're also gonna have to help remotely. Good thing they've got a psychic kid. Elle says she can enter Max's mind when Vecna does by piggybacking off of him. Then she can fight him in his mindscape.
Mind fight. Righteous.
Yeah, but just so we're clear, the mind is the arena. They ain't throwing brains at each other. Elle's gonna need a sensory deprivation kiddie pool, which means salt water, and Argyle's got a sodium hookup. Probably better through his weed hookup. It's the local Surfer Boy Pizzeria, complete with an Argyle too. Argyle Prime convinces him to let them use the store with the help of Purple Palm Tree Delight. As they cook up Elle's personal water park, we get more characters.
It's so funny how in the first 3 seasons, Jonathan literally did stuff, but it's like season 4, the doctors were like, this season he's barely gonna do anything, and he kind of is just there. He's not even a character. He's just there. He's just there. At least in the first 3 seasons, he actually did something and helped the guys fight the bad guy. But no, he's just there. He's just there. He did nothing.
And when she saw him killed, she didn't intervene because she wasn't sure if he deserved to be saved. Now she can't forgive herself for thinking that way, and wishes something bad would happen to her too, just to keep things even. She asks Vecna to make her disappear, and he's more than happy to oblige. But first, she's got to have hallucinations.
It's going to be you that breaks the world.
Vecna has assumed control. He has assumed control. He has assumed control. Yeah, but he still looks like Lucas. Maybe smack beside of him? Oh, yeah, that makes the picture right out. Max makes a run for it, trying to think happy thoughts, as Eleven grabs her arm and plugs into her mind. It gives us the latest of many montages of moments from earlier seasons. When she finally lands herself in new footage, it's Max's memory of that time she auditioned for that one short in VHS viral. With Eleven successfully in Max's mind, Lucas signals Erica to begin Phase 3. That means it's time for Dustin and Eddie to distract Demobats. They've been turning the Upside Down trailer into a bunker/concert stage.
Are you ready for the most metal concert in the history of the world?
With a dedication to Chrissy and the amps turned up to 11, Eddie gets shreddy. Wait, is that actually him playing this Metallica song, or are they just playing the album? Because if it's him, this is insane. Can the rest of those dudes keep up with him? If so, that is an impressive teenage band. Someone should sign them. The Demobats can't resist such tasty licks and flock to the trailer, leaving the upside-down Creel house defenseless. When designing the Demobats, longtime Stranger Things creature concept artist Michael Maher crafted something like a bat mixed with a spider. And my earlier reference to Minox was actually spot on. The Dumpers initially suggested the Demobats look like those creatures from Empire Strikes Back. From the space slum scene. Maher further developed them with inspiration from arachnoids and facehuggers from Alien. Rodeo Effects hand-animated each of the 5 to 6 tails to give them movements that looked both graceful and evil. Then, like all the monsters in Stranger Things, they got a coating of digital slime.
Kind of the cherry on top of the monster sundae is always a slime petals that goes on top of it.
The Hop Squad arrives back at the eerily empty prison, with plenty of gunfire coming from the distance. Maybe South by Southeast. Keep an eye out for footsteps, my guy. When they get inside, they find a room with a dead guard and a dead scientist. The warden's still alive, but not for long, and tells Murray that the Demogorgon got in. Yeah, no shit, dude. Then the guard shot at it and shattered the tanks, so the other monsters came alive as the shadow went into them. He dies before he can clarify what the fuck that's supposed to mean. But a shriek lets them know. The mind flayer particles have gone into all those Demodogs they demosaw. They catch a glimpse of the carnage at Kamchatka on the security monitors, where I count 6 bodies, I believe. They concoct a plan to lead the monsters into the pit and rain hellfire on them from above. 8 more dead guards can be seen in the background as they put together their plan. Wow, we're really piling them on now, huh? Everyone gets assigned a role, with Hopper volunteering as bait. He'll tempt a Demodog he sees by himself, nomming on bodies we've already counted. Oh no, Joyce is getting dramatic flashbacks of Bob's death. Come on, Hop, don't do this to her. She's already seen Demodog's tear into one of her husky boys. But this husky boy promises he'll be back, because he's not a husky hobbit, he's a husky hellboy. They have one more terrible tasting kiss, and he sets out, passing 2 more bodies in the hall along his way. Then it's time to get along, Demodoggy! Hopper runs from the Demodog through the corpse-filled halls, where 9 more bodies can be seen and added to the count. Some of them are seen on the monitor by Joyce. So, thanks for the extra angle, lady. She watches as a Demodog pins Hopper down, threatening to give us a Bob Newby Part 2. Back in Right Side Up Hawkins, a teenage posse chases down a middle schooler. Those damn basketballers have found the Sinclairs. Bad timing for Lucas, who's sitting with Max as she runs around Vecna's mine layer. V-Man appears as Billy again and traps Max at a dead end. For his return to the series, Dacre Montgomery wasn't able to be physically present on set. Australia's strict COVID lockdown rules prevented him from leaving his home country, so he was digitally added to the scenes with Sadie Sink. Max thinks of happy memories. Memories with Lucas. Memories like the snowball dance. It works until Vecna gets Pennywise to her plan, popping blood balloons in a definite reference to the 1990 It miniseries. Wha-huh? 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 Inside the Creel house, Jason confronts Lucas, and yeah, I mean, he probably looks pretty Satan-y with how Max is right now.
Is this what you did to Chrissy?
Lucas tells him not to interfere, but Jason's got a gun, and he'll shoot the damn devil right out of him if he needs to. Lucas calls Jason an evil, dumb normie and tackles his captain to the ground. Meanwhile, Erica kicks the other guy in his basketballs and breaks free. Inspiration! During the fight, Max's Walkman gets broken, taking away her escape route and, causing her a needless expense. Thanks, Jason! In the Upside Down, Steve and the girls storm the castle and find themselves playing hive mind hopscotch as they try to avoid the vines all over Vecna's house. One wrong step is all it takes, and they take that one wrong step, so Robin gets frickin' crucified by vines. Nancy and Steve are attacked in turn by tentacles, which, as the Netflix captions put it, slither wetly. Things for Eddie and Dustin aren't going too much better. The Demobats breach the trailer through the fence, so Dustin retreats through the gate to the right side up. But rather than follow him to safety, Eddie the Banished opts to sever the sheet between the worlds instead. He's sick of running away like a coward. He's been complaining about it the whole damn season. And if you aren't paying attention, it's alright. The show plays a line from earlier this same episode.
Look at us. We are not heroes.
God damn,
We're
we
like-
put Taylor into people who half-watch shit while they're on their phones. Eddie suits up to sacrifice himself, then rides his steel steed into battle and goes down swinging. Kinda hard to swing away that many bats straight chomping on you, though. With everyone's part of the plan pretty fucked up, Vecna cuts in at the dance and taunts Max about it. He says since they all suck, she might as well be the final sacrifice. You know, get this Vecna show on the road. He slams her against the wall, but before he can finish his whole thing with her, 11 shows up. Having finally, I don't know, patched through the pizza place, I guess? This is the first time Vecna has seen 11 since she sent him to the Upside Down. And filming this scene was the first time Millie Bobby Brown saw Bauer in his full Vecna getup. It caused her to burst into tears.
I looked at him and I was like, what is that? I didn't know. I thought this was going to be CGI. I didn't know.
She, bless her, she burst into tears.
The whole rehearsal, I was crying.
Bauer felt bad about it, but hey, made it easy for Brown to seem disgusted and afraid.
I didn't have to act. I was terrified.
The Duffers always knew they wanted something special to happen between 11 and 1, even before they knew who 1 would be. Back in Season 1, they wrote a 20-page lore document for Netflix, even though they didn't have all the details figured out. Season 4 allowed them to finally engage with all that world building and figure out 1's relationship with Al. That's why they kept the character open. Merchandise and comics were allowed to feature any of the other numbered psychic kids, but never 1. 11 throws Vecna through the bleachers and helps Max to her feet. Max isn't sure if she's real at first, but don't worry, 11 can explain.
I piggybacked from a pizza dough freezer.
Never mind. They walk back into the gym where they find a vexed Vecna waiting for another fight. It's the rematch of the century, folks. Only this time, El's not a little kid, and 1 is working under a whole new gimmick. Really got a kind of Isaac Yankem to Kane transformation going on here. It's also a level up, since he's able to throw her around in his mind layer with ease. He has his vines pin her to the door of the Creel house. He doesn't want to kill her just yet. First, he wants her to watch as he kills Max. 11 tries to stop him by saying Papa's dead, so, you know, he can quit being a dick. After all, Brenner's abuse is what made Vecna what he is now.
He's the monster, Henry. Not him.
You sure about that? V-Man disagrees and says Brenner wasn't a monster. He was just a man, and he didn't make Henry into Vecna.
You did.
He explains that after she sent him to the Upside Down, his burnt ass explored the new realm, taking in all the local devil life in the wild. He came across a bunch of shadow particles swirling in the sky, and they reminded him of the spiders he so dearly loved as a boy. He shaped the particles into the Mind Flayer, holding his powers. Then the MFer waited for Elle to open another door. Now that she has, he's going to keep it open forever by killing Max. Eleven's losing her will to keep fighting, and everyone's in a bad spot. They're getting beaten up by bats, or bullies, or are just still wrapped up in vines, I guess? Wow, it's been a while for them. Lucas finally overcomes Jason and knocks him out, but Max is already floating and doing the thing. Oh man, you don't want to see her doing the thing. Mike tries to help by dropping the from shit and telling Eleven how he really feels.
I love you on your good days. I love you on your bad days. I love you with your powers. I love you without your powers. I love you for exactly who you are.
She hears his words and they give her the strength to break free and overpower the V-Man, sending him flying. At the same time, Joyce arrives to rescue Hopper from the Demodog, putting the spark back in their relationship. They run into the pit and the Demogorgon corners them until Murray lights it up from above. He rains fire onto all the Demodangers down there, killing the Demodogs, which I don't really care about. They don't go on the count. It also hurts the hive mind a bit, but it doesn't finish off the Demogorgon, who squares up with Hopper for a showdown. Hop picks up a sword because he knows the rule of cool as he gets into a monster fight of mythic proportions. Kinda literally, actually, since it ends with Hop beheading the Demogorgon like Perseus did Medusa. And since Demogorgons are humanoid, they do go on the count. Always have. Hopper and Joyce embrace as Yuri and Antonov arrive with their evac by air. Alright, cool. Are we done seeing them now? Fingers crossed! Thanks to Murray's Demodog Demolition Derby, the hive mind gets hurt so bad, the bats stop Nomenon Eddie, and Nancy and co. are able to escape the evil vines. The unexpected turn in fortune allows them to move into Phase 4. The Dreamy Team finds Vecna's server room and prepares to make him go offline. They light him up with fire as Kate Bush comes back on the soundtrack. Steve and Robin make use of those Molotovs, while Nancy freaking Wheeler blasts the shit out of Vecna with her sawed-off shotgun. She even shoots him out the window, with Natalia Dyer looking real badass while she does it. And I'm not the only one saying it either. Many people are saying it.
Yeah, she looks
She
awesome.
looks amazing.
But Vecna still manages to get away, escaping from the sequel like Michael Myers. Justin tries to get back to the Upside Down to help his buddy and messes up his ankle when he flops through worlds. The bats are dead, but it's looking too late for Eddie. I mean, dude's at the end of his character arc, you know?
I didn't run away this time, right?
It's a sad and sweet scene between two outcasts who always had each other's backs.
I love you, man.
Eddie says this is finally gonna be his year, and then he graduates to the great beyond, dying in Dustin's arms. Damn, ain't no one in this party got a scroll of Revivify? Though Vecna got interrupted, he still messed up Max pretty good.
I can't feel or see anything.
And, in fact, she's not okay. She dies as the clock chimes a fourth time, verifying that the final sacrifice is complete. Shit. The biggest rift yet opens up in the
But good,
ground,
there's
bringing the
11
house of
with
Apple
resurrection
chasing with
power.
it. Haha, yeah, get fucked, dude! The earth shakes as Vecna's vision comes true, and Hawkins rips asunder with gates, all of them converging in the middle of the town. It's a disaster on an insane scale, all while 11 deals with the personal disaster of losing Max. This is some of the most impactful things Stranger Things has done, and wait, what? Two days later? What the fuck? We're just gonna yada 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 after that? Sure, 2 days later, Hawkins is still a disaster zone, destroyed by what the news is calling a giant earthquake. According to the report, 22 people were killed in the chaos, so we'll add 21 to the count right now, since I'm assuming that reported number included Jason, and we already counted him. The Wheelers are packing up their home when the pizza van arrives. Great, now the gang's all here, and Argyle too. Wait, does he have a family? Do his parents know where he is? In a little twisted twist, Max is revealed to be alive, because Stranger Things will only kill new characters. You can count on that. I mean, she's lucky she's safe now. She showed up in season 2. That wasn't good enough for Bob. Still, she ain't doing great. She's in a coma with all her bones broken. Womp womp. And before you say I shouldn't have counted her, you can shut the fuck up. Because when 11 and the others stop by, we get proof that I was right.
She died. I mean, clinically.
Yeah, still counts. Her heart stopped for over a minute. They don't even know how she came back. But we know it was Elle. How'd that work exactly? Was she some kind of defibrillator? Whatever. If it worked for Neo, it can work for 11 too.
Yeah, I guess 11 just has resurrection powers.
One more season to go, and Sadie Sink is maybe the best of the entire cast. Hawkins High acts as a safety shelter where Robin, Steven...
That's out of nowhere. That's just so dumb that 11 just has resurrection powers now.
Vicky, who also mentioned she broke up with her boyfriend, so, like, maybe these two have even more sandwiching in the future. Dustin sees Eddie's uncle putting up missing posters and hobbles over to him with his janky-ass ankle. The town still thinks of Eddie as a cult leader and a murderer, but Dustin tells his uncle the truth, minus the monsters. He says Eddie was a good person to the very end, and died fighting to protect the town that hated him.
He isn't just innocent. Mr. Munson, he's a hero.
Hey, yo, I thought they were making PB&Js. Who the hell's cutting onions up in here? Nancy leads the Cali crew to Hopper's cabin, where, wait, really? A cleaning montage 2 hours into a season finale? Sure, okay. Jonathan apologizes for not being there, and they seemingly reconcile. So, does that mean Stan sees a lost cause? Is Steve represented by Nancy's childhood toy, Mr. Rabbit?
He'll be more loved than Nicole.
Hopper and Joyce meet the kids at the cabin for our final bit of character reunions.
Venca.
He hugs Eleven, who never stopped believing he'd come back. He even gives Mike a hug, and he wanted to kill that kid last season. But things aren't all sunny, as Will warns Mike that he can feel Vecna through his lingering Mind Flayer connection. The V-Man is hurt, but still alive and planning his next moves. He'll never stop pursuing them, so they're gonna have to kill him.
And we will. We will.
No, he will. You, Mike. Well, the weatherman hits him with a nasty forecast. Potato flakes and the right side up. That can't be good, especially with the freaking main title music playing over a sweeping group shot. They've got a gathering storm ahead of them. A full-scale upside-down invasion. A somber ending that the Duffers compared to Empire Strikes Back. And just like with that movie, audiences would have to wait 3 years to see what happened next. When a bunch of numbers get killed, will it give us the most numbers of a Stranger Things season? Let's find out and get to the numbers. No. I'm getting stuck in this layer. Just gotta listen to my favorite song. We counted 127 victims in Stranger Things Season 4, consisting of 89 men or boys, 9 women or girls, 29 of unknown gender, and 1 Demogorgon, giving us this Surfer Boy Pizza Pie chart. I was curious about kills per episode, so here's a chart showing that. Oh, it's kind of like a W. Wow, that's a lot of kills, especially compared to previous seasons. It had more than twice as many as Season 3, which was the previous highest for the show. With a soul-crushing runtime of 782 minutes, the season had a kill on average every 6.16 minutes. And if you want that in episode form, each episode had an average of 14.1 kills. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Jason. It's a quick moment, but an awesome death, and a great way for such a scary villain to go out. Gold Machete for lamest kill will go to all the Kamchatka guards. It was a pain in the ass to count them all, as they were turned into Demokibbles and Demobits. And that's it. Stranger Things 4 came out in 2 parts in 2022. With the second release so popular, it crashed Netflix for many users. The 5th and final season is about to begin its 3-part release on Netflix, and I can't wait. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill.